What happened to your face? Are
I
you
got a
wearing
black eye.
makeup?
No, I got a black eye.
What happened?
Took a knee to the eye wrestling, but
Oh no.
today my knee hurts today. I got a guy trying to knee bar me who's like not that experienced, but he's like super big and strong. I'm just, you know what I mean? So he's just constantly trying to like break my knee basically.
Oh, that's
And I'm just
nice.
like, and I'm defending it, and I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, yeah, whatever. And so then I'm on top of him, and all of a sudden, like, no one's near me, and I just got this like weird feeling in my knee that I've never felt before, and I'm like, oh, like I had to like
Oh
stop.
no.
Now I'm on Tylenol. So, how are you?
I'm good. I think I'm in like a whirlwind. It's crazyville around here.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm now back in the furniture business. I'm at my father-in-law's store, closing it down on his behalf
Mm.
because he is just not physically able to do it. And yeah, so I've added that on top of my plate. Horrible timing, but time to get rid of everything, TK.
You know what? Some people, when challenges are in front of them, they cower. They go home
That's right.
and they, avoid all their problems. Not you, Daryl.
Not this
You
guy.
face your problems head on.
Oh my
You say, I already got
bloody.
enough problems, but I'm going to take on some more.
That's right. One more won't
Everybody's
kill me.
problems are now my problems.
You see, one more won't kill me worked a lot better when my hair was a little less gray and my belly was a little more trim,
Mm.
TK, and the age on my birth certificate was a little closer to the
So
current,
this year's,
right?
I
And
love it.
so it's a lot to take on. There's a lot of stuff there. We are gonna just discount the living bejeebas out of everything. If
Guys,
anybody needs anything, it's the time.
furniture sale.
Come
Let me
down
tell you,
to Crazy Darrow's because that's where the deals are,
Furniture
baby.
Warehouse. You
Let's
got it.
go.
I love it.
920.
I'm having such a crazy real estate week, to be honest with you. If I
Yeah.
like if I could just like fully disclose every little detail of the week that I'm having right now, people would be
Oh my
like, "Wow,
God.
this is quite the week." Check out the merch, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave some comments. We got every platform you can think of. You can find us. What you think of it. Type in Canadian Real Estate Show. You'll find us. Drop us a comment, like, follow, share, all that kind of stuff. We
All
love
that
you
kind of
guys.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
See, we appreciate all of you.
So last night I had four offers on a property.
Whoa. On the same
Listed,
property?
listed for 800. Priced attractively, but nothing crazy.
What was the
We get to
price?
800.
800.
Get some great offers, well over asking. Everybody's gung ho. Everyone's telling me how great it is, all that kind of stuff. The seller, he's in a nursing home. He's in his 90s. He's got his sons dealing with it, power of attorney. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the sons are like, no, my dad wants X dollars. Otherwise, he ain't selling. I'm like, well, where did this come from?
Mhm.
Like, please.
After the offer date.
We were already, our two best offers were about 50 grand more than the last comparable sale.
Mhm.
I was like this is a great offer. I was excited. I thought this was like, deal on the board, right? Anyways, long story short is they didn't take
Deal
it.
on
So
the
now
board.
this week I'm sorry, today I'm dealing with uh that the dad came down a little bit. They went to the nursing home and now I'm dealing with this today to see what's going on. I mean,
So
it's
hold
his
on a
house.
sec.
He gets to decide whatever he wants. Old Italian guy, he gets to decide whatever he wants to sell his house for.
But
It's not my decision.
does that
But
mean you have to go back to the people that brought the offers and get them up to the point where he's
I
willing to
am, but I'm
sell?
also telling now everybody because I'm priced at 800, but he wants a lot more than that. So now people are calling me saying, "Hey, did you sell last night?" I said, "Look, we had four offers, but the guy wants big money, and unless your client's willing to pay that money, it's just not going to work." And then they're booking showings.
And then they're booking another showing.
No, they're booking their first showing. These are new agents.
Oh,
So
new
that
people.
shows
I
me
see.
that, you know what, maybe the interest is there. There's not much out there. And it's got a great
What
garage.
type of product? Oh, so this is a single
Two
family
bedroom
house?
detached bungalow on a corner lot where you get access to the big oversized double car garage with two single doors. It's the biggest garage in the neighborhood, and the access is like right off a street, as opposed to when you're in Toronto, you usually got shared drives, mutual drives, narrow, tiny, like you can't even get to your garage, right? It's a pain in the butt. This is like it's in your backyard, but it's on the side street, and you've got this like direct access to a beautiful garage. So by far, to me, biased opinion, best garage in W3. Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Frankly and Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all Remax teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Frankly and Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call. Now, another issue I got, which was
Yikes.
like a long-standing issue. Man, this is, I could write a book about this story, but met the guy for lunch today, took him out for lunch. Him and I like were like estranged, you know what I mean? Like I did the deal last year, but it didn't go through. It's like by far the most notorious client I've ever had. So I can't really talk too much about it.
Notorious?
Very notorious, like in and out of the media for many years. Very comes from, there's Forest Hill involved, there's Bayview, there's all these like wealthy circles of people
We were
that are all
talking about me,
involved.
TK.
No, but
Okay.
bottom line is most notorious client I ever had, and it's just full of drama and still going on. And him and I were like fighting not too long ago because, he's just not doing what he's supposed to do or what he said he was going to do. And I was just like, kind of, I had it with him. Eventually you got to tell your clients, if you're not going to be honest with me, like how are we supposed to work together? Anyways, we patched it all up today at lunch, and I'm working on trying to get the deal closed. And I just talked to the agent, and it sounds like they got some interest too. So we'll work on that, and then power of sale this week. Save the client from power of sale this week, so we bought him out. The mortgage, I think it's closing today, so that was good. We're happy. Another one, it sounds like the end of the month, the bank is going to take their house, and I got an offer, Daryl. I met with the buyers myself, and I squeezed an offer out of them, and I'm ready to go see my clients tonight. It's
How do you,
perfect.
so how do you squeeze an offer?
Um, well, they're interested. I mean, it's not, anything else, but I'm doing my job and making sure that the offer comes in place at the right time and at the right price with the right terms. So, I mean, I got it, and my clients are like, "Yeah, you know what? Tonight's really not a good night for us.
Yeah.
Maybe we can meet later on the weekend." I'm like, "What are you talking about?
What's going on? I just hit
The
a
bank's
grand
gonna take the
slam.
house in a couple days, and I'm here ready to come tonight. Let's
You
go."
fuckers.
I'll leave
Yeah,
right now. And they're just like, like
that's
it's
the
so
way.
funny how
That's the
this
way. Listen,
business
try
works,
being the
you know?
guys, the mortgage brokers that I deal with. Okay. These poor guys, listen, they're lovely guys. I really like them. They're young, they're smart, and they have connections to all kinds of money. And they bring me a deal. And it's like they think that they just brought me the best deal ever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
And that you
they
owe them.
no, it's not that. It's not what I was looking for. So I tell them, guys, what the fuck is this garbage? Like I
Oh,
can't
this is the
use this
mortgage deal,
shit. I'm just saying it's
not a
happened
land deal.
multiple times, right?
Yeah,
You got to go back and get me something better than this shit. And they're like, what? Like we thought this was the best thing ever, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the same thing with the realtor or even like with the old guy. You thought you did a bang up job. The old
I did an
guy's
amazing
got
job.
different plans, right?
I did an amazing job. Yeah, I
He
thought it
thinks
all
you
set, but I've
fucking
never met the
undercut
old
him
guy.
though,
I've never
right?
met the old guy.
Right.
So I had the sons
That
all
bastard
like, no, I had
sold
the
my house
sons.
so
I
cheap.
had the sons in line with the expectations of the market so that they saw that we were getting an exceptional price. But they're like, but my dad doesn't because he's
Yeah.
looking at the next door neighbor's for sale, but he's
Mm,
been on the market for like 100 and something days.
mhm.
And I'm like, no, grandpa, it's for sale. It's not sold. What's sold is less.
Right. So,
The
but
offer we
he'll,
got is more.
well, listen, I mean, especially when grandpa's selling, and
I
I
get
mean,
it.
he's still
I
alive. He needs the dough,
Exactly. I
right?
get it. And I deal with a lot of these old school, mostly Italian people who are, 80, 90 years old too. And they're sweet, sweet, sweet people. And they're tough negotiators. And they just want to make sure that they go through their process until they finally will concede if they have to concede, but they're not going to give up easy. And
Yeah.
and and so I get it. And so the Suns are all like, "Oh no, he's telling me." No. And already since today compared to yesterday, he's come down a little. I said, "Don't worry, just give him time. We'll present him enough evidence. I'll keep bringing offers,
Well, if it
keep telling
doesn't
him what's
sell,
going
yeah,
on."
exactly.
Well, the
Right. If
bottom
it
line is
doesn't
the
sell,
market's going down.
the
Market's going
market's
down.
going down. Is it? Is
Market's
it?
going down.
Pricing is going down.
I'm not gonna toot
Uh-oh.
you know, let's all buy real estate right now because it's a good long investment because of appreciation horn. That horn
Uh-oh.
doesn't exist.
That horn is gone. But hold on a sec. I thought prices were flat, TK.
Prices are steadily dropping in every single
Steadily?
market. Yeah.
Steadily?
Yeah. It might just be a very slow decline.
Gradual?
Yeah.
Gradual, steady decline in prices across the
But that's where we
board?
are. And then there's only more listings coming on. I mean, is there supposed to be a rush of new buyers coming? All of
Yeah,
a
what's
sudden, a
the
bunch of people are all just going to come out of the woodwork starting to buy houses again soon. Where are these people coming from?
but there it's yeah, so hold on. We must be in the desperation phase because the people are doing stupid shit. If you're throwing inventory into inventory, record inventory,
People
you
need to
must need to
sell.
sell, right?
People need to sell.
Need to
Oh,
sell.
and I have
Oh
some news for you.
no. Oh
And I'm being
good.
honest with you.
Okay, great.
I encountered for the
Why
first time.
wouldn't
To be
you?
honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Well,
encountered.
because this topic, I don't think you believe me on,
This
uh, or
topic?
or the people
Uh-oh.
don't. I've encountered my first Brampton mortgage.
Ah, you've
You were
encountered the
talking about that
first
this week
I was Brampton
on your
mortgages?
guys. If you haven't checked out the Frankfort
Oh
report,
yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
he's a solo show. It's like Justin Timberlake when he left NSYNC.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
It's
just
like,
we forgot about the guys' names in NSYNC. We don't even know who they are anymore. But
yeah,
Justin, he was a star. So
yeah.
Darryl,
Tom, can you let me talk for a second, Tom? Just shh. Nobody remembers who you are already. Okay,
here
just
you
remember
go.
that. No,
Here you go.
listen, it's a fun time. We're live. We take callers. It's a good time. It's not real estate. It's like all kinds of shenanigans. But yeah, come check it out. It's a good time.
Consistent
Something to do.
every day. He's
Listen,
there.
I don't have much to do. TK's a busy guy, right?
I
I gotta stay on my toes. I gotta keep yapping or I'll realize what's going on around me in the real estate market.
I
Listen,
so what did I say though? I just said about Brampton Mortgage.
Brampton
I
Mortgage. So I
encountered my
talked about
first.
that the other day.
You had some sort of one where it was in regards to, um, um,
Oh,
what's it
I
called?
think I was yeah, fake documents. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
tell me about
forged
that.
documents. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what does it mean that you encountered a Brampton mortgage? Like you encountered a broker that will do one
No, I encountered a client who
who
came to me
has
and
one.
said that that's what they're doing.
They're doing one.
Yeah.
Okay, so recap for us. Are you
Yep.
selling a house right now?
I can't say too much, but the bottom line is
No, I
this.
mean like right now. Were you just
It-
texting a deal?
yeah, sorry,
Okay,
not selling a house, but
not selling a house.
I had a
How does that come
like
up? Hey, TK, we're gonna do a Brampton
yeah,
mortgage,
like
bro.
look, honestly, most of the time I would say people don't tell me or it doesn't exist. I am naive and I believe it just doesn't exist because they tell me this stuff and I refer them to my mortgage broker and they get regular mortgages. And when he tells me these guys can't get a mortgage, I say, sorry guys, go rent and figure it out. I don't be like, I'll take you to my other guy. I don't
Yeah.
have another guy.
Well,
So
you need
that's
to
why my
meet
whole
the other guy.
career, it's been like that. Well, when you have enough business, you don't need to start going down the back alleyways of Brampton to get mortgages.
No,
So you
it's
just
just a
you say,
point.
look,
It's
this
just
is not a
like
good thing to do.
a way sign in the
Okay.
right direction. Like just
Okay.
in case you need
But
Raj, here's his card.
But somebody I'm dealing with said to me, TK, we
Yeah,
want to be honest with you and tell you what we're doing, and
we
this is
can't
what it
afford
is.
this house.
And I gave him my honest advice, and they appreciated that,
What was
and
the advice?
that you're gonna lose sleep at night, knowing that you got a mortgage like this because that's exactly what would happen. Like I mean, like
Why?
everything
What
you do,
happens?
well, because like I'm sure when you get the mortgage, you never really want to even call the bank. You never even want to ask questions. You just want to like pay your bills and like stay. Comes time to renew, you're just like, okay, I'll take the posted rate. Like, don't worry. Like, don't
Yeah,
worry. But like, you
yeah.
just don't want to be ever flagged by them, and that
TK.
you would definitely have that impact
That re-
your enjoyment, your peaceful
sure.
and quiet enjoyment of your property. So
That reminds me of this hilarious story. Give me a second to tell you this funny
I won't
story. Okay.
speak again. Okay,
So
go.
so so I bought. this new house from a builder. Okay. It was our second house, and we had done all these upgrades with the builder. And the way that it worked back then is you paid 50% for the upgrades when you picked them. And then on closing, you paid the other 50%. And so with the lawyer, my accountant, and me, we got all the money together to close the house, including the balance of the upgrades. And we go to close, and my lawyer goes, "You sent me too much money. There's like an extra 25 grand in the account." And I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what's going on. Like, just close the deal and don't say anything." Right. And
Mm.
so they forgot to charge for the balance of the upgrades. And so, like you were just saying, for the rest of the time we lived in that house, we're like, we're not calling the builder to complain about anything. We do not want them to open up that file and
Yeah.
realize that we still owe the money. Right.
Yeah.
But you think really people with Brampton mortgages, it's not that they can't all afford the home. They can afford the payments on the home, but they can't prove that they can, right? A lot of them can actually afford the payments on the home,
I hope
right?
so. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many,
In
but
theory, that's what
I'm
you would
sure a lot
expect.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, then there's the ones who
Well,
can't.
they have like they rent out the rooms or they do something else to be able to pay it if they need it.
I'm so interested how that comes up though. Like, why did they feel the need to even tell you that? Why couldn't they just go about
Because
their
they were
business?
concerned, because I'm asking them about their financing and they were concerned. They were like, honestly, we're not really sure if we have it or not. This is what the guy's telling us, and this is the only option we got. So I said, okay, well,
You don't
that's what it
require
is.
pre-approval, like you don't want to see a pre-approval from a
There's
bank
no
before you go with
pre-approvals with
people.
those.
With what?
It's just like the process is they make an offer, and the mortgage will be ready when you need it. It's kind of like that's all it is.
Hmm.
So it's a little nerve-wracking, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we see lots of listings. We see like no sales. I saw somebody posted something today, I think.
Hmm.
If the House Sigma sold numbers for this month are even remotely close to being right, then GTA RE is fucked. They're showing up to today with 1 week left in February, 2,400 sales. The in 2019, it was double that.
Yeah,
Last
I
year
mean, I
was
try
more
not
than
to
double.
um get information just from my own personal business because I realize like I could have a good month and the board isn't doing well or vice versa. But yeah, I mean, this month is slow for me too, trying to get deals done. It's been a challenge.
Oh no. Fuck. See, you're a gauge of you're like the lead of the market, right? If you guys are doing okay, I feel like things are okay, or the
Yeah.
rest of the market will catch up. But if you guys are slow, and you especially, well, I'm
Yeah.
sure you're not like you're still busy, but it's like gotta be a grind to get anything across the finish line, man.
It's a little bit of a grind.
Well, who
Although I
didn't
lost
do anything?
last week, I lost those two offers. I had two offers out for buyers. One was land, the other one was like an infill site. And the land one, all of a sudden, some other buyer came out of nowhere and bought it. And we were
Oh,
like, and my guy was like, no way. And he hesitated on the price that he went to, and then someone else outbid him. But they got 2 weeks of condition, so we're waiting. So that was interesting. And then the next one we bid, and then they came back with a sign back. We didn't accept it. We were starting to talk about a VTB. We're like, trying to figure out a way to get the seller more money, but keep my guys, healthy, and the house couldn't be financed. And next thing you know, the next day, as my guys delayed, and the wife was sick, and she was talking about this and that, the guys all of a sudden like, "Hey, we got another offer. What are you guys gonna do?" And I said, "My guys are not moving fast here, so do what you got to do." And he sold it. So I was like, "Holy smokes!" Lost both of them.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
A lot of not good stories going around. Like everybody I talk to, no matter what or no matter who, it's like they're having a rough time getting
mhm.
whatever they're trying to get done when it comes to the real estate, whether it's a refinance, a new loan, raising money out in the marketplace for certain things. It's like it's
Yeah,
a grind for everybody right now.
yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, I go wherever I go, they're like, how much would you need? Like, what?
You're
We
the
just
only
want to be
one doing
part of
anything
this,
in
right?
that space. Yeah,
What's that? It's like I'm walking in, they're going, how
yeah,
much can we give you, sir?
yeah.
Right?
I know. Because
It's
nobody else right now is asking for money because they're all behind. And, there's money to be lent out there. There's money to be lent out there,
they're very tight, and the
you
way
know?
that they are underwriting deals right now is
Yeah.
horrendous. If you are trying to, you know, you know,
Borrow more money than,
55% is very safe. Well,
yeah,
listen, depending on how things are structured, leverage can be a useful tool. Now is not really one of those times. Now,
yeah,
like super amounts of leverage is a bad idea and a
yeah,
bad word and something we want to avoid. So it's finding that like good mix where you can keep going and you're not destroying the deal and
yeah.
finding people willing to do it. I mean, a lot of
I put,
guys out there are not getting any offers on the stuff that they're taking to lenders, like
yeah,
nothing that they can use, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
useless.
Are you looking for the best merch store on the planet? Well, we got the shit for you. Coming in at low prices where we barely make any money off of whatsoever, you can get the greatest real estate merchandise on this platform. Just look at this very flamboyant man putting on this great stuff. He looks great, he's dancing great, and boy does he look sexy in that merchandise. I tell you, buy this for anybody, you buy this for yourself. You will be not only repping the greatest Canadian real estate podcast in this world, but you will also be looking hella good doing it.
Me, I mean, I always ask for a lot anyways, so I never really get what I want, but then I end up with what I want. Like Trump's out there taking over Canada and he'll be okay, with something other than taking Canada.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Tariffs.
which, what about, were you watching that game last night? You must have been. Were you too busy?
I was too busy, but
No way.
what a
That's a
goal
big
though.
win, man.
What
That's
a
a
goal.
what a
What
goal.
it's not even just the hockey game, it's the
So much
symbolic,
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
the symbolic victory of
So much
us just
more.
being better than the USA,
I loved so many
especially at hockey.
things,
Yeah.
especially at hockey. Did you see?
Yeah.
I don't like Trudeau, you know this, but I mean, did you see his tweet where he said, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game"? Okay.
Yeah.
He probably didn't write that himself, but he did put it out there.
We
And
can't give him credit for anything.
well,
Don't.
we can give him a little credit for that one because it was
Yeah.
kind of good, right?
No one's taken our country. Everybody knows that. He keeps mentioning it. It's a great negotiation tool and it's a soundbite for him. Trump is
He's
good at what he does.
he's got a foot on our
He's
throat.
so
No,
good at what he does.
he's a real bastard, and I love him. And I
Yeah.
think he's great at what he does. I absolutely agree.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
amazing to watch. TK, we never talked about the plane crashes. Do we care about plane crashes on this show? Not
Yeah, I
really.
mean, does it make you want to get on a plane?
There's so many
We were
plane
just talking
crashes,
about that
right?
the other day, me and you, right? Like,
Well,
it
I
does
was
not
always
make you want to
worried.
get on a plane knowing that it could crash. Like, geez, that's,
No,
you go through your whole life and you're never near a plane crash. You forget about it. But all of a
listen,
sudden, when one's in your own backyard,
like literally,
yeah,
right? It's not
yeah,
cool.
and
Well,
it's an American plane too.
back in December or early January when I went to Mexico, I was worried back then. I was like, "Oh shit, we're on one of these 737s. These things are going down lately." Now, since then, there's been so many. Okay, I'm not even kidding. There's
Yeah,
plane crash after plane crash after plane crash. The interesting thing about this one is zero casualties, which is a
mm.
bloody miracle. But
And
it's
that it
a
was like
big fucking
upside
craziness.
down, wing off. Like it's not just like it crashed like
No,
into the ocean or something like that. Like literally, it crashed and rolled.
it didn't explode. So all the people inside were like, "Holy shit, we were just in a plane crash and we're alive. What the
Yeah,
fuck is going on here?"
yeah.
Yeah, oh, what a craziness. Okay, back to real
I mean,
estate.
how does that affect real estate?
I don't think it does. I don't think
Well,
it
like this
does.
is what it does. Is it
Less
the
travel.
economy? The
Yeah.
economy, okay, is affected from tourists. Toronto's a big tourist city. You're going to have lots of people who
Yeah.
are going to be coming to Toronto for different reasons. During the time the airport's closed, nobody's coming. In the future, people might think twice, right?
I would. I listen, I'm already sitting here going, where the fuck are we gonna go on vacation? Because I'm not flying. And I'm not taking vacations, which means I'm fucking stuck in the United States, right? I'm not driving to Mexico for fuck's sakes. I don't think.
Mm.
Right. But I'm like serious. I'm nervous. There has been so many things falling out of the sky right now. I think it's honestly, there's been like 85 plane crashes since January 1st reported. It's an insane amount of things that are going on. And it's
Yeah.
weird. But, anyways, we don't want to get into all that crazy shit. I think there's an effect on the economy and probably, I guess, with that real estate. Because if there's even a 10%, 5% of people reconsidering coming here because of that, or reconsider going anywhere because of that, there's going to be some kind of an effect, I got to think. But I mean, mix that with all the rest of the shit. We were looking pretty attractive before the tariffs because our dollar's shit, right? I guess our dollar's even more shit. If you come from the States, is that good now? Even with the tariffs?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You're getting more for your buck.
Way
So
more for your buck. And
coming here, even just buying Canadian goods right now, it's good for us in the sense of, you know, the Canadian dollar being down, that more people are going to be buying Canadian goods, right? Now, that being said,
they buy
tariffs
houses.
would take away a huge chunk of that. And the impact of the aluminum and steel exports probably supersedes any additional exports that are being sold because of the low dollar, right? So the tariffs really do put us in a bad position. And I'm talking to a lot of people right now, and nobody's letting that go. Nobody's basically saying, "Hey, don't worry about it. This is going to be, something that just blows over." Everybody I'm talking about is saying, "Listen, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think it's already impacted the economy. Is it going to affect my job? It's going to be something that I need to be worried about all the time." And as long as Trump is in power, which is the thing that we really have to understand too, is like it's not Canada versus the U.S., right?
No,
Like,
it's
what do we
Trump
have?
against Trudeau.
It's just Trump, doing what he believes is the right thing to do for his country, and he's targeting uh, Canadians,
Did you say
right?
that people's jobs are already affected?
Absolutely,
Right. So I mean, imagine if they're implemented, what will happen? Like this is just
absolutely.
people
Yeah.
bracing for impact and their jobs are already affected. So tell me though, how like what kind of a job has been affected already?
I guess anybody who would be uh, about to be hired for a company that does a lot of business for
About
America,
to. Right.
right? That
About
would be
to.
something that you would have
We'll
immediate
hold off
impact
for a
on,
little. Yeah.
right?
We're gonna wait a bit. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
anybody whose company has got um, the ability to move to the states to bring their operation to the states, right?
Right.
So all of a
Yeah.
sudden now you're sitting there, your family, your kids, everybody's here in Waterloo, and you're going like, "Hey, I got this great job here, and I'm replaceable." And now all of a sudden, my company, who does 80% of their business with the U.S., is I looked over the CEO's shoulder, and he's looking at commercial space in Chicago, and you're
Right.
just like, "Oh man,"
Uh-oh.
like he's already contemplating how to be able to just pick up shop, move down there, and replace people like me with Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, less
Mm-hmm.
attractive, lower IQ, whatever.
Is this office workers or is
Probably a
this
little
the
bit higher pay.
manufacturers though?
This is everybody. This is any type of company that's
Do they
got
have to
business
move
with the
the
states.
office? I
Absolutely, yeah.
guess
If
if
they're gonna start becoming an American company, yeah. I wonder how Doug Ford got his business down in the states. I don't know the history on that because like
he has a
he's
business in the States, I thought he had a sign
yes,
business here.
no, his family's business is down in the states as well. So he's got a
Oh,
huge American company there. So I imagine that process, whatever he went through, would be very similar to any other company here could do. You start doing business with Americans, and all of a sudden you can open up shop down there. If you say, "Well, my headquarters America now, and I'm a U.S. company," then the tariffs wouldn't apply,
right.
and you still deal with
Yeah.
all your people.
I know my partners who manufacture stuff here and they bring stuff in from the States. They're like, they're most of their storage here could be in the States, no problem. And they're
Yeah.
like, this is stupid. So now we'll just stop paying rent here. We'll pay a little more rent over there, which
Hmm.
is actually less because it's cheaper there for the space,
Yeah.
right? Now it doesn't even have to come here. And
Yeah.
so they're like, oh, wow, we should have done this before. This is a good idea, right?
Yeah.
And then that leads to, well, since we're partners with a manufacturer here on the stuff, well, we should explore a partnership over there so that we don't,
What happens to
right?
that manufacturer's
Right. And then it's like
position?
the same thing. It's like, oh shit, like we should have been doing this all along because
There you
not
go.
only is it better for tariffs, it's better overall.
Logistics. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more efficient, it's more logistical, it's more profitable,
Yeah.
right? So all this did was, I mean, I guess mission accomplished for Trump, right?
Open people's minds to seeing what it would look like, not bringing goods back and forth over the border. I mean, that's exactly, so there you go. So the impact is already there without even there being any tariffs,
Right.
right?
So, but imagine the inverse of that. If we are the 51st state and there's no taxes or duties going over back and forth in anything,
Yeah.
right? It just flows everywhere like
Well,
normal.
anyways, let's not talk about that. It's so
Okay.
polarizing. There's politics and the 51st state. Like you just can't, no matter what position you have.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm
I
just
know,
saying,
but
like, look
I'm
at
not
what
trying
it
to
could
say
do.
that. I'm saying me and you, we're such easy targets because we're just talking so freely. And
Oh,
sometimes I
yeah.
say things I really mean, and sometimes I just say it like because it was on my mind at that moment. And later on, I listen. I'm like, I don't even really think about that too much. But
Yeah.
it's like we're easy targets because
Sure.
obviously people are hearing it and they're just going like, oh, how dare he? And then other
Yeah.
people are like,
Fucking
wow, man,
traitor.
you're a genius.
Right. It's so crazy, the
Yeah,
back
it's
and
like,
forth,
what's going on
honestly,
here? I just
especially on Instagram. Like, they're
Instagram,
vicious.
I read comments like twice in my life on our videos in Instagram, and both times I left completely confused. Do they like us or do they hate us? I have no idea. Half of them
Well,
like us, half of them hate us, and I was just like, huh? You
there's
know,
a couple right
good or bad,
now.
but they get views, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, like, but right now there's a couple that are going crazy, and it's
The videos,
so
yeah,
mixed though, the response. It's
I
like,
know,
you're a fucking traitor, or
yeah,
yeah, let's go, 51st state, right?
yeah,
Or
I
I
know.
think I was talking about oil in one, and they're like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And the other
Yeah,
guy's like, oh yeah, this guy's right
this guy knows
on,
what he's
This guy's
talking about.
bang on. Is he
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
oil
yeah.
industry? Right?
I
It's
know.
so
That's okay.
crazy. But it's
Yeah.
the same in real estate, like even just buying. Like some people are gung ho, ready to buy. Like it's time to buy, and they can't wait
Mhm.
anymore. So they're like, I gotta buy. Like,
I
let's
know.
go.
I got
Let's
buyers
buy.
who are ready to buy. Like we're shopping, we're ready to pull the trigger, we're looking for stuff.
Yeah.
There's a need for housing. So that's the good news. Like there's still a demand from buyers who have jobs. Our economy is not completely trash. We don't have that much inventory out there where people are completely scared off from buying. So I think there's going to be still a strong market for people to be able to sell in going into 2025. I really don't have that sort of, of negative input. The issue with 2022, the markets that I've sold in that were the toughest for me was 2022 and 2020 and 2017. Okay. When I was in 2008, 2009, I was a buyer agent. I didn't have a lot of listings. I only had a couple listings I would get. So like I wasn't as focused on how to sell in those markets a listing. I was more focused on how to help buyers. But 2017 and 2022, I was dealing with a lot of listings. And because of the price drop, the rapid price drop, right? It was hard to know where prices were. And so when you would list the property, you would see that one that just sold 3 weeks ago, and you would say, well, you know, let's try to maybe get that price or a little bit lower or something like that. But it had already dropped so fast that you couldn't keep up with it. So then by the time you got on the market, the market had already passed you, and you're constantly chasing it down. Right. And so those become challenging markets where it's hard to sell, and you're just going like, oh my gosh, how do I get this done? This is like
What's the
a lot of,
price?
it's very challenging in order
What's
to be able
wrong
to
with this thing?
find the right price and have the seller agree to that price. So because
Right.
they know that their neighbor sold X 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So in this market, it's very simple. The market's moving slow. It's going down. There's not that much inventory, but whatever inventory is there, make sure you're the best price listing. Make sure that you're, comparing the last sale, the most recent sale, with the property that you're selling really closely to make sure that you're priced well based on that. And then there's a buyer, and a buyer comes along and they
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I need to buy, and this makes sense," and they'll buy it. So I really like this market. To me, this is my favorite market to be working in. A going down market, but nothing dropping too fast. It's
So,
stable. It's easy for me to help people buy and sell at the same time.
yeah.
I can navigate this market easily. I can basically guarantee to somebody that, we're going to get you within a certain price point and that it's going to be sold within a certain time frame. And on the buyer side, there's enough inventory to say, hey, well, we'll find you something in this amount of time It's a really easy market for agents. Not easy, but it's a much more favorable market for an agent to be working in rather than prices always constantly going up, buyers losing out on multiple offers all the time, or the real craziness like selling in a week like that stuff. I
Yeah.
hate that market.
Well, so a few weeks ago, I would have thought, even 2 weeks ago, I would have thought that, even though there's a lot of inventory out there, if I'm looking for whatever, a townhouse for 1.2 million in Xville, right? Like, how many of those are there really that are also kind of like something that I like, right? Or that whatever doesn't need a renovation or just is the right configuration for me or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, yesterday, I just happened to go on the House Sigma because MLS sucks. I went on House Sigma, and just in my fucking area now, there's like 5 houses for sale, which is
Yeah.
not normal. Like in this tiny little pocket here, there's 5 fucking houses for sale,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And the prices are all over the map. Like nobody has a fucking clue what to do. Like
Yeah.
not a fucking clue. So I don't know what's going on. When somebody comes to you and says, TK, this is what I'm looking for, is there like a lot of options for them?
When they say,
Let's say they say
I'm hoping
I'm
to,
looking for a bungalow for one
okay.
five in Scarborough. Like, is there a lot to choose from? I know
Um,
there's lots of inventory, but is there a
no,
lot? Right.
in any situation that I'm in. Now, one of the reasons I can say that, or one of the reasons for that is, there are a lot of overpriced listings on the market.
So things
There's
that
a lot of
might
listings that
be
have been on the market for like 100+ days.
so something your client may be interested in if it was
It's just listed
priced
at the wrong
in a
price.
different
Yeah.
price point. Right. But then those sellers are like, if I sell for that, I'm fucking bankrupt. So fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Right. I'll figure out how to hold on for 4 more months. The
Yeah.
market might come up because
Yeah.
interest rates are going down. No?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
people think?
Yeah.
Aren't people just still waiting for like it just to be finished already? Like it's been years, hasn't it? Hasn't it's since what, February, March 2022? It's fucking 2025. It's been 3 fucking years
Doesn't
already,
feel
for
like that,
fuck's
right? It
sakes.
still feels like we're hanging on
Like,
to the
what are we
good old
going?
days.
We're going for 7 years here. Isn't
Yeah.
everything accelerated now? Can't we just print our way out of this for one more time, just until all of my stuff is fucking sold
You
and
might be
built?
you might be just in luck,
I
you
think I'm
might,
gonna be.
right?
I
I
really
think the
do.
bank this year, tariffs or not, the economy is going to start showing signs. The labor market is in a much worse state than
Uh-oh.
what we know about or that what we can possibly understand about it. The unemployment rate's not, the only metric to look at. You've got people who are going to be losing their properties more and more throughout the year. You got all these pre-construction condos that people can't close on, that money is going to disappear. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits, a lot of litigious developers looking to be able to collect on those contracts. Right? There's going to be a lot of stuff going on that's going to take money, steam, jobs out of the economy, and the Bank of Canada is going to know all this. I mean, like if two great, amazing real estate podcast hosts like you and I know about it, it's pretty safe to say that the guys with master degrees in economics down at the Bank of Canada figured it out. You know,
Or somebody told them.
somebody told they watched our
Maybe
show
they
at
watched the
least.
show.
At the
Right.
very
At the
least,
very
they
fucking
watched our
least.
show,
Yeah.
and they're gonna say, "Geez, you know what? Maybe we should do something here."
Well,
And
what about like the
quantitative
blanket?
easing is like this new. It's like the rate cut on steroids. It's just like they're like, well, rate cuts. If that's not enough, what else could we do?
Well,
And
what
that
about the
becomes,
blanket appraisals that they're putting out there and helping people close right now? Right. Oh,
well,
we
I
don't.
think it makes sense for the blanket appraisals to happen on the bank's favor.
Well,
Like
I mean,
for
it
the bank, it
kicks the
makes
can
sense when
down
they
the
look
road.
at it.
Yeah.
Well, they say, look, either that developer, he's going to be stuck with a unit. He may not, he may default on his loan with us, and we may end up having to take over the whole bloody building, which we don't want to do. We're a bank. We're not a developer. Or Daryl, who's got a job, we're going to allow him to add his dad on title in order to be able to qualify for the loan, but we will appraise it at that price, so at least he doesn't have to put in any more money.
Yeah.
His 20% deposit will be 20% down payment based on the appraised value. So we're going
Yeah.
to give them an
And we'll
80%
lend you
loan
the
to
money.
value.
Yeah.
And so what if it's only worth $700,000 and our loan is 800? If you
That's
don't
right.
make those payments, Daryl, guess what?
Hey, listen.
Right?
Listen.
Daryl, based on your credit, you're going to make those payments.
You're gonna
Based
make
on your
those
income
payments.
and your
But if
dad's
you
income that we're going to let cosign, you're going to make those payments.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
if you
risk that they're
don't,
taking.
we'll figure it out, right?
That's the
But
risk
it's
that they're
much
taking.
better, yeah. And then the building can close and they can get their construction loan back, and at
Yeah.
least like part of it's fixed, right?
Yeah.
Now they have mortgages out on inflated priced condos, but at least there's somebody in it, right? And a lot of them, when they sell, will take the hit on behalf of the bank, right? The
I
bank will
th-
be whole, they'll take
yeah.
the hit.
Grant
And
Grant Cardone always says, when you owe the bank $1 million, it's your problem. When you
yeah,
owe the bank $100 million, it's the bank's problem,
yeah, yeah,
right? So the
yeah.
bank fixed their own problem.
That's it. And that's
They
that.
said,
Listen, that's how it
"Whoa,
should be because
how,
they're part of the
I gotta help
problem.
Daryl. You owe me 100 million, but Daryl, I'll help you solve this issue. Don't worry. I'll make
They,
sure that that buyer you're in a contract with gives you your money, so
yeah.
that we get our money."
Well, so it's weird. So, here in Toronto, and probably, I guess, in most cities in Canada, we do this pre-sale thing of 65, 75% before we can even get a shovel in the ground, right? And
Yeah.
most places do not do anything close to that, right? They build the thing and then they fill it up. And a lot, like, how many times have we talked about it? Like, who the fuck's waiting 7 goddamn years to buy a place for it to be maybe ready on time, right?
Mhm.
So, a couple of
I don't even know what I'm gonna
conversations.
wear tomorrow. Never
Yeah,
mind
like,
where I'm gonna live 7 years from now.
yeah, or like some people don't even know what gender they're going to be 7 years from now, for God's sakes, right? Like
Possible.
things
Yeah.
change in a few
Things
years.
change. Gender. Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm in this meeting this morning with a real estate guy, and he's saying, people, they don't want to wait for the project to be finished anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
we're dealing with end users now, and it's
Mm.
not like this investor who's waiting to flip a paper, right? They
Mm.
want to move in, they want to know when they're moving in, they want some stability in their lives, right?
Yeah.
And then so we start talking about there's this deal that came out down in Yorkville, 138 Yorkville. I don't remember if we talked about
We
it.
talked a little bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out at like 4,000, 6,000
Yeah.
bucks a foot.
And they're
And
starting construction.
they started without having sales, right?
Yeah.
Because again, it's like that buyer, they want to just like, they don't want to know 7 years. It's like, oh, look, they're above ground already, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be in a couple years, right? And
Yep.
so I think what
What a
might
play.
well, but what might have to happen now
Yeah.
as part of this whole mess to kind of unwind it a little bit is it doesn't have to be pre-sold 65, 70%. Like let them
Yeah.
pre-sell it 25, 30%. Show that there's interest. Get a bigger loan that's guaranteed by CMHC or whatever. Let the building go up and then like they get absorbed. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be the first weekend. Like we got to start
The
being more
condo the
realistic.
condo play is a good play for developers who have liquidity issues, right? So obviously getting the bank's money based on the sales allows you to build something with the bare minimum amount of equity, right? Going through that process is like the worst. Like, I mean, that's like you have to have the most amount of equity to even start that construction, right? In order to be able to do that, because you got to pay for all that cash. And then purpose-built rentals is sort of in between. One of the developers that I met, I was showing you that site on College. We were talking about it. Anyways, they've been doing purpose-built rentals since 2017.
Yeah.
And so they said to me, like, no, like we never had a plan for condos. We never had a plan to do that. We've been doing purpose-built rentals since 2017. It just kind of fell in their lap now that the market's starting to go in their favor. And so that told me how well capitalized they were,
Right.
right? That told me that if you guys were doing purpose-built rentals since 2017, and and you don't sell them, it's just about building
Well,
buildings,
don't be so
keeping
sure.
them.
Like I've
They
looked at a
haven't
lot
sold them
of
yet. They
yeah,
haven't
well,
sold them
I've
yet.
looked at a lot of deals where these guys
Yeah.
went in 2017 and a little later to do purpose-built rental, these small things that like
So what they're saying is the
I don't
REITs
know
are
how
all
they
knocking on their doors right now.
If
The
they're
REITs are knocking on their doors
stabilized, yeah,
and saying, hey, like, what are you doing? Because they want to buy them. So the REITs are being active and trying to
that's good.
purchase new construction purpose built rentals. There's a few different ones now that like that's the only product they want. I think I saw the one that was in Pickering. Who bought that one again? I sent you that one.
In Pickering?
Yeah, it was 127 million. Starlight and somebody they partnered with an American company, so I don't think we know 'em. But again, all that division that they built is strictly new build, purpose built rentals, and
Mhm.
that's obviously somebody who's got with no rent control and everything else like that. They're going to start a fund and have more attention and maybe an easier sell
Yeah.
instead of like, hey, let's buy some 1960s apartment buildings and wherever,
Yeah.
Markdale.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
look, Fitzrovia raised a $2 billion fund for purpose-built rental, and they've been doing it
Yeah,
forever. Definitely
Dufferin and
more
401, they crushed
everywhere.
that building pretty fast.
Yorkdale, like
Yeah,
they're at
Yorkdale. Yeah,
yeah, Young and Wellesley. They got
yeah,
tons of stuff going on, but they
yeah,
raised a huge fund for more stuff. And I know
yeah,
Cranston is raising a fund right now for
yeah,
purpose-built rental fund. I know I'm looking for money for my purpose-built rental building. There's
yeah.
there's there's a lot more purpose-built rental in the air because like it's starting to actually make sense from a development perspective where
Hmm.
you can make some money, you can get some money out, and it's not the same as a condo deal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's getting closer to. It's getting to within like an acceptable level where people are more comfortable, right? Because at one point it was like if you do the condo, it's this, and if you do the rental, it sucks, right? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Well, you couldn't even finance it. Like
Well,
it wasn't
you didn't
possible.
even think about it, quite
Yeah,
honestly, because it was like,
yeah,
why would I even bother, right? I
yeah,
can build this quick thing and be out and make a ton of money.
yeah.
But now it's like you can't build the thing to make a ton of money because the condos are not selling no
Nobody's
matter
buying it.
what.
Yeah,
Nobody's even thinking about them,
yeah.
right? Except for the guys that are trying to unload theirs. They're thinking about them a lot. Actually, I talked to a guy who said that, if there were any condos for sale that were new that were 30% below the current resale market, that he would eat them all up
30% below the current resale market.
for new
Yes,
units.
I would
Fire sale.
also I would also buy those.
Well, but there's guys out there that would say that's not low enough yet, right?
30% below the current
Resale.
resale.
Yeah, for the
I
new.
don't know about that. I don't know anybody who would say that.
Well, I know somebody
30%
who
below
said
what
that.
they paid. Sure. Like that's
Oh,
not
no, no.
enough.
No, but if you have a
In
building
a
on
lot of
one side of
cases.
the street that's new and across the
Yeah.
street's a resale building,
For a
right?
thousand bucks a square foot and you can buy a brand new one at 700, who wouldn't buy that?
I don't know.
You should
Like,
be,
who would buy that? There's not, maybe there's some guys like you that will just say, yeah, that makes sense to me.
yeah.
But, well, first of all, there's not that many. And second of all, most people would not buy something no matter what right
It's not
now.
possible. But I did hear though, just
Oh, I
through
heard
my
about a real
channels.
low one, like a real low one
Here's my
for a bunch of
channels.
units.
Now what now what they're doing is you gotta pay. You gotta pay. So as a seller, I bought a property. I paid $1.5 million for a condo. Okay. Appraisal came back 1.1. I originally gave $300,000 as a down payment,
Yeah.
but I need $100,000 more equity in order to close. The buyer, right, in order to be able to get the money. The buyer is like, well, hold on a second. Um, I don't want your crappy deal here. Like, why do you want me to be stuck with it, right? So what the seller's doing is, don't listen to my numbers, by the way, because I'm just talking off the top of my head here. The seller is putting up the deposit, not the buyer.
The
The seller's
seller.
putting up, in this case, just a super
Is
loose
this new
example.
construction?
Yeah, the seller is putting up, the assignor is putting up $100,000 deposit to be held in the
Oh, in an
buyer's trust account
assignment. Oh, in an
and
assignment.
saying,
Okay, I
here's
see.
your 100 grand.
Hmm.
Now, when you buy my property, I'm also assigning that $300,000 deposit to you
Hmm.
so that you come up with $1.1 million on closing
Mhm.
to give to the developer. And I covered the $400,000 difference between what I paid and what it is worth now. Think about that.
Say it again. Maybe I
The
didn't understand it because it
seller
still
is
sounds like
not
somebody
only
lost
giving up
money.
his deposit,
The
he's not only
seller.
saying, take my deposit and and I'll just assign it to you and it's yours. My deposit is your money. He's saying the value of the property that I bought is so bad, it's gone down so much, and I don't want the developer to sue me. So you take it on. You pay land transfer tax. You handle the management. You get the financing because I can't get financing and I can't get the cash. I'm screwed here, and I don't want to get sued by the builder. I'm gonna pay you $100,000, Darryl,
On top
to
of your 300 that you gave the
take
builder.
over my contract, and that 300 grand that I gave to the builder, it's yours. That'll be credited to your condo, and you come up with the 1.1 million in order to close it. But it's your problem. Here's the money. I'm giving it to you
I'm
as a
paying you
seller,
to take this off my hands.
and the deposit is my money, not the buyer's money.
No, I get it. So I'm paying you I'm paying you 400 grand to take the property.
Basically.
Well, that's called losing money and
I know,
getting fucking
but that is
fucked all over
that's
the
the
place.
environment. So I mean, we have Mark on the show talking about them just defaulting, but if that's not your, in your cards, and you're like, I don't want to do that. Uncle Ron was telling a story too on his social media. You pay the buyer.
You
It's like
pay
lease
the
busters.
buyer.
You know, lease busters.
Yeah, yeah.
When they do
Cash
the car,
incentive,
so
sure.
they hit a cash incentive to
Yeah.
take over the lease.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not? Well, that's crazy.
I know.
The whole thing is crazy. I mean, I was in a meeting today with a lender, and I said, man, and I've said it a few times, I would be scared as all hell to have a zoned piece of land that I was planning on selling zoned, like for like a typical high-rise building. Like you're fucked.
You're definitely
You
gonna
better have
fake a
deep
bunch of paperwork
pockets.
and
Yeah.
try to raise some more money to like buy yourself 5 years
No,
because you're
but
screwed.
But you know what guys are doing? And we've talked
Yeah.
about this before, and I just saw it happen again.
Yeah.
Is they go back in for more density,
Yeah.
right? Because now it's like, oh, look, now all of a sudden, because of this planning, we can get another 15 stories. The planning report says it. We went in for a meeting with the city. They're okay with it. Now we're going to refinance it based on this thing.
Yeah.
And we get a little
Here's
bit more runway.
There's a letter from the city and an opinion from my planner.
Now you got to have a pretty good relationship with the bank for that to work, even in,
Good
especially
luck.
in this environment.
They'll
'Cause I'm
raise
telling
it
you,
privately
it's fucked. They may raise
on
it
a really
privately.
good
Yeah.
deal. The rest of them will go belly up and under receivership any day.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
this is the thing. You start
But the-
getting into
but-
like the Van Dykes with 4 mortgages on the property and the one
and they're not even like going to market. Like the lenders, they know they're screwed too because they actually have more debt on the property than what it's worth. Because at the time, the 65% loan to value that they gave, right?
yeah.
They thought, okay, we're safe based on our underwriting standards. Well, guess what? The property value's gone down 75%. It used to
I
be
don't know
worth
about that,
10
but it's not worth what you need
it's
it
not
to
worth
be
10 million anymore.
Yeah.
It's worth 5 million, and they are owed 5.5, whatever the numbers are. The bottom line is we're not even seeing those deals come to market. They're actually going under receivership, and they're just hanging on to them. So I was told about some of them are just reconverting it to debt with their lenders, because a lot of these are like Mix and like those type of companies where they've got a bunch of individual investors, and they're basically saying, "Hey guys, now we own a parking lot now, guys, or we own a plaza now.
Isn't
like
that
we're
great?
collecting. It's a 2 cap, and we're collecting
But
some
we're safe.
rent.
Yeah.
So, and we'll look at our options in the future, and no, you can't have your money back. Speaking of money back,
Money back. Oh yeah. He's did I send you that article?
yeah.
BG Wealth.
BG Wealth. I don't know if we should say
Crusaders.
anymore. It sounds like this guy's probably going to he's going to read
Gonna
that
sue
article
us?
and know that us, along with Miranda, cracked the case,
Yeah.
along with our viewers, put
Yeah.
him in securities jail. But apparently he's not really
I was wondering
acknowledging
how
that,
it
and
was.
he's going to keep on doing what he's doing, saying, too bad, so sad to the investors. So
Well, how is it even relevant, anyways? Like when I saw that the SEC or whatever the hell it is, the commission
the securities,
put a freeze on it, I was like, I don't think he gives a shit about this. I don't think he's like, right? He's not saying that he's licensed to do anything, is he?
But that no, he's not. But that's the
That fucking
difference,
guy.
because he says he got a legal opinion. So in my
Oh, well then.
limited, uneducated, and naive point of view here, okay, I'm totally ignorant on this. I'm not a securities lawyer, nor do I have a fund. But it'll be up to the securities enforcement team to prove that he is required to be licensed. And so that would be something that they now would have to investigate to see the methods that he's advertising, the wording that he's using in his ads, the type of relationships he has with those investors.
Yeah.
Is it, does it fall underneath their jurisdiction or not? And so
Well,
at least the right people are on the job because they've actually got the ability to like lay criminal charges and all that kind of stuff where nobody
right.
else does.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't
I
just,
think I don't, maybe someone else does, but
no,
I know they do.
I think they do. Listen, this
I
is
gotta
the
watch what I
reason
say now, you know, you gotta tippy toe around everything.
you got to
Everyone's
be
so
careful.
sensitive.
Yeah. And that's
I worked
why,
at the securities back in 2016, and the only way that they could do that is X, Y, and Z. Okay, thank you. All right. Tell us in the comments, and we appreciate you. Thank you
yeah.
for coming. Thanks for watching. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what I was going to say because you cut me off
I know.
3 times
At
when I
least
tried
three
to
times a
say it.
minute.
Holy shit. I literally forgot what I was going to say. Well,
You were
DK,
talking about something else. Yeah, I don't
something
remember.
else. Well, I think it was something that you were talking about, but it doesn't matter. It's definitely unimportant. What about this thing here?
What do you
This
got for
has
us?
to do something with real estate if it ever actually happens. And maybe we can talk about the LRT on Eglinton at the same time. But how about this new high-speed rail project between Toronto and Quebec City? People are trying to understand why we're spending 3.9 billion on a high-speed train when people can't afford groceries.
I think the high speed train to Montreal is like this. It's kind of like an election thing. I'm hoping, I mean, that
Who
there's
cares
some.
about it though? Like who
I mean,
cares?
people going to Montreal and Toronto all the time probably do,
Is that a
right?
lot of
But
voters?
this is my personal opinion here. Okay, so first of all, I look at the high speed train network in China, and I see just how much it's used and how big of a country that is. I know we're population size and all that kind of stuff, a different story, but we do have a huge country, a huge landmass. And to be able to get from one place to the next really quickly without having to get on a plane would be pretty handy. And I
Mhm.
do believe that a new high speed train network is something that is in Canada's future, just based on looking, you know, how the world evolves. Maybe it's 50 years from now. I don't know. But I do believe that that's something that we are going to be incorporating. And so the first one between Toronto and Montreal, the most traveled and shortest distance between two cities, I think makes sense. I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I don't think that the current Liberal government's obviously going to do it. They're going to be replaced soon. But I hope that it's a plan that some government in the future actually sees through because I think that there's some good potential there. That makes sense?
Yeah, from the research that I've done, this has been in planning since 1995. And then when they compare it to other high-speed rail projects that are going on in North America, you start to see that like prices go from the 3.9 billion to 120 billion really quickly of taxpayers' money. And it just so happens that this high speed rail in particular just so happens to be awarded to one of those companies that Trudeau is currently under investigation because of, right?
Mm.
And so, you know, when you award a $3.9 billion deal to your friends that balloons into 120 billion and never gets built, you know, when is enough for us, right? But on
Well,
top of it, it's like you start buying up all the real estate, you start getting people excited, right? Because now development and all those new stops gets like increased and all kinds of shit starts happening when these things actually start happening.
but there was a Peterborough stop and there was a somewhere else stop. Like
Kingston, I
imagine,
think.
yeah,
Kingston.
Kingston would make sense.
But it's to Quebec City.
Imagine being able to live in Kingston and having a high speed train that can get you in an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it is, to and from a central Toronto location.
Hold on. No, I can't. No matter what I do, TK, I
Yeah.
can't imagine living in Kingston.
Okay, well, some like this is my 2 cents. This is my 2 cents. I
Gives a
believe
shit,
that
yeah?
Toronto's about my
Not
opinion.
about your 2 cents, about the high speed rail.
I gotta
Sorry.
go, guys. All right, I'm out of here. I need
God
Darryl's
damn it,
approval
Tom.
on
Get
everything.
out of here.
So, the urban sprawl, like, and the issues that we've got with Toronto, and the fact that
Mhm.
it's ridiculously expensive here, and that it makes no sense for anybody, but unfortunately, most of the jobs are here, only gets solved by either creating bigger cities like Hamilton, expand Niagara Falls, expand Kingston, that kind of stuff, and to have more jobs so that people can live there with cheaper housing, or provide a high-speed transportation
Rail to
line.
fucking Quebec City. Why don't you take us
Why
to
Quebec? Let's go to
Saskatchewan?
just to go to Peterborough, Kingston, like a
Quebec
short little
City's cheap,
1
though.
hour. Boom, boom, boom. It took me an hour just to get down to Bloor West this morning from my house.
Yeah, I was
I
driving
live in
around.
Toronto.
I never drive, TK. You know me. I
Yeah,
rarely go out. I try and have as many meetings online as I can.
yeah.
And I was out all fucking morning today, driving like all the way east, all the way west, down. It's like I you can't be productive and have to drive places because I don't care if you make phone calls along the way. It's like you're not as productive in the car as you are at your station in your at your home base and grounded and not able to think while you're like isn't other cars trying to knock you off the road and people flipping you off and lights changing and all this stuff you got to pay attention to. Meanwhile, it takes an hour to get there. Then because you're in person, you have to shoot the shit. You got to be offered a coffee or a drink, or somebody got to take a piss or whatever, right? So shoot the shit for 15 minutes. Then you have this extra long meeting because you all actually came in person to have it. Then you got to drive somewhere else for an hour, right? And in all that same time, you could have had like 7 Zoom meetings for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I can't stand this. But
Well,
it's like it was
when you
not
have
even
enough money eventually, Daryl, because you've developed every luxury real estate property in the world, you'll just have a personal driver. That's it. You'll just have
but you
someone
still in a
drive you around
car.
and you'll be in the back and you'll be zooming.
I
And it'll be
had
a
that
nice
for a
fucking,
bit. I
it'll be
had
like a
that for a bit.
Cadillac Escalade or
I
something.
didn't like it. I had a driver. Listen, when
Yeah.
I had my construction company at the very beginning,
Yeah.
and I would just it blew up so fast. All of a sudden, I had 5 jobs, and I was like, I think the best use of my time is to have a guy sit in my car and drive it while I'm on my laptop and on the phone all day,
Sure. Yeah.
right? But I didn't like having somebody drive my car, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to go in their shitty car. So it
Well,
was
then you
like,
can get a car just for them.
and I
That's a
don't want
nice car.
somebody all
Because
day
again,
listening to my shit. Like, for God's sakes,
well, you can get a car like a limousine, with the
that's
glass
what
in
I
the middle.
need.
Yeah, and
I
you
need a
got the hat.
helicopter. I need a helicopter, TK.
Yeah.
Should I get a
I saw a
helicopter?
guy in England. Can't remember what it was, but like he was the CEO of a company and he had to get to work. And unfortunately, the traffic was so bad in that area that he said, well, I got to come up with an idea. And so he bought a taxi
Hmm.
and he ran a one cab taxi company where he would drive the taxi, wouldn't pick up any passengers, but he was allowed to go into the taxi lanes
Oh, it stopped
and get
there.
to work every single day a lot
Eh,
faster.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So Daryl,
There's some great ideas. There's
start your
some
own taxi company. Although we don't
that
even have taxi. I know what you can do. You can ride your bike
I can ride my
in the bike lane.
Now
Yeah.
you're talking.
You can
Now
get a
you're
tandem
talking.
bike with you, the guy in the front pedaling, with
Yeah,
you on the back on your laptop, and you guys can be in the bike lanes. Which, by the way, do
that's
you
a good
know who
idea
has priority
for
when it
now.
comes to snow clearing?
Yeah, the bike lanes. It's
Well,
fucking
I'll give you
ridiculous.
options. The road,
Yeah.
the sidewalk,
All right.
or bike lanes. Which one in the winter
Yeah.
are they clearing first after a snowstorm?
It's unreal, TK, that the answer is bike lanes. And I've
Is it?
seen it. When I was in Montreal a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
they have the same stupid rule. We're sitting there in gridlock, like right after work, downtown gridlock, and not one bike in the bike lane, and it's immaculate. It's perfect. The streets are fucking slushy and fucked up, and you can't move, and
Probably
people are
heated.
sliding into each other.
Yeah.
And that bike lane is like perfect. Like I don't understand how we got here. Like, how crazy are people? Who
Yeah.
who sits there and goes, no matter what, the bike lane's gotta be clean first in the
It's their
winter.
morning meeting. It's their morning meeting. It's like, all
Right?
right, guys, listen.
And then
We know
everybody-
there's nobody in those bike lanes right now. We know that there's no bikes outside,
Yeah.
but we're gonna make sure those lanes are clear, or else you guys aren't getting lunch.
No,
And
you
that's
know what
it
it
feels
is.
like.
The guy in the meeting that makes the decision is the guy that drives the fucking bike to work in the winter. Okay. He's
Yeah.
like, God damn, you sons of bitches getting in my lane. I
Yeah,
need a
yeah.
clean, perfect lane on the way into work.
Yeah. The only guys I see
Bastards.
riding bikes in the winter now are the Uber Eats guys. And they got
Uber
like
Eats
these
or the
like
courier guys.
hover, yeah, maybe couriers, but they're definitely um brave souls. God
They're
bless
they're
you, Uber drivers
yeah, you
on bikes
bastards. You got to go on a
delivering
bike
our chicken teriyaki.
in the winter to
Yeah.
8 stops before you
We've
get
cleared
to
those
me.
bike lanes for you.
That's right.
You
So
deliver that chicken teriyaki and you don't care who honks at you or opens their door in
it
your
doesn't
face.
come. It's never warm, TK. It's never warm. It's. It
Any
was not
other
a good idea. It never was. It never will be. And that's just how it's gonna be. Okay,
what
I
else
got
was
one
going on?
last
So
thing
there was some
here.
Doge stuff. I mean,
Oh, Doge.
Elon, was talking about the secure people getting Social Security who are like 150 years old, but that might be like a technical.
350.
Well, that might be like a technical glitch now. I don't know. That's what Joe Rogan podcast was talking about, so I didn't really get
A
too much into
technical
it.
glitch.
Yeah, it's like the way that program works is it inputs dates a certain way, and so that way if it's not
Y2K.
yeah, it's
Y2K,
like a
maybe.
Y2K thing, exactly. So bottom line is, like we'll see what happens there,
Who
but like there was a
cares?
huge amount of cutbacks.
Yeah,
There's a
like
huge amount of
crazy.
cutbacks in the government services area, and I think that Polly Ever would take a page from their book,
I'd
and I
hope
think that
so.
he might have somebody who's got the balls, because right now, it's not a party thing. It's not a what's it called? The president's how do they call it? We call it the cabinet. Down they call their administration, the Trump's administration.
Okay.
It's Doge. It's Elon Musk. Like he's doing it, and like the job is for government efficiency. So there you go. It's working. Like what he needs to do is there to make the government efficient. With if you told someone, should we make the government more efficient? Nobody's going to be like, no. Like everybody, it's like literally what I've heard my
No,
entire
but that's
life.
what's happening
The
is all the
government doesn't know how to
people.
spend the money.
No, but everybody that was
The
scamming
workers,
the system is standing up going, you
the
can't do this.
workers.
This is no, the fucking senators and all the parliament people,
Yeah,
all the people in the government there who've
yeah,
been dipping in the cookie jar are
yeah.
like, you're invading our privacy. How dare you? You can't cut off this funding.
That's the
They
Social Security one.
No, that's all kinds of shit going on.
Different
Now
things.
they're
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
IRS. Now they're like
yeah,
into the Pentagon.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. But just like, did you see there was a video of what's the guy from? Is it Brazil? Where's that Miele guy from? Anyways, wherever he
Venezuela
is, Venezuela,
or
Ecuador, wherever
Argentina.
the hell, Argentina. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Anyways,
Argentina.
wherever he's coming, the Miele
Yeah,
guy who started this whole revolution of like taking over, cleaning house, emptying the swamp,
yeah,
just gifted in person, came to Washington, gave Elon Musk like a crazy chainsaw, right? To just
yeah.
keep cutting and cutting and cutting.
How
It's
symbolic.
it's
Yeah.
so crazy
So
what's going
here in
on.
Canada, hopefully, because there's been one liberal scam after the next, and like there's so much coming to light, and there's so many inefficiencies and
Trudeau's leaving
scams,
with this rail thing is like the
right?
next one, right?
I
Like
know.
on the my way
So
out, here's a few
let me try to
billion for my
suck
friends.
a few more billion out of us. Oh
What
my
the
God.
fuck? It's
So hopefully that
crazy.
becomes like the new MO of our future ministers and cabinets, right? Is that everybody's going to be looking at how to be able to cut the fat. But
Well,
honestly, if you're getting like I'm getting fed,
well,
I'm not
listen,
going to say nothing. I'm
I'm
going to be
getting
like, listen,
fucking
guys, listen, who cares? It's a few
no.
billion. We're giving everybody else all this other money. Who
No, this
cares?
is crazy. Look,
So,
people are saying stuff like, I just got my bill for property taxes, right? I
yeah.
own the property. Why am I giving this money to the government that I bought with my own money, for God's sakes? Like, this is
Yeah.
so
People always say that about
stupid.
taxes.
And
So,
but then, TK, it's one thing to say that, okay? And to be getting all the services and everything is all beautiful and it all makes sense. It's another thing to do that and then see them send it to Ukraine. Okay, and then do this high
not
speed
the
rail
municipal
bullshit.
taxes. That's not where
It
that's going.
all goes somewhere, TK. It's
It
all
all
your
gets,
taxes, one way or another,
yeah,
goes to Ukraine or some LGBTQ thing in Nigeria or somewhere not here. Okay,
yeah,
or not for stuff. If they came to us and said, "Hey, TK, Darryl,
yeah,
Charlotte, and D Trent, what do you guys think about putting condoms in the horse stalls in the Netherlands. Okay. We're thinking about putting $1 billion into this.
Yeah.
Can you sign off on this? Would you say yes, TK?
No.
Because this is the
Sounds
shit
like it's
going on.
something that we don't need to get involved with.
No, and what's crazy is that as nuts as that sounds, there's things that are in there for real that are even crazier. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even crazier. So it's like, when do we as a people go, hold on a sec? Like, what the fuck am I paying into here? This is crazy. It's cheaper for me to pay for everything than to pay my taxes for them to go to all these other weird fucking crazy causes that I get no benefit from at all. Like, at all. In no way, shape, or form. I'll pay for my fucking dentist.
It's supposed
I'll pay
to be
for my
done.
doctor.
It's supposed to be done through our democratic system. It's supposed to be you vote for somebody who is going to take care of that money. And unfortunately, the system that we got, which is broken in many different ways, one of them being you got to speak French in order to be elected. That eliminates a huge amount of the population right off the bat.
Yeah.
The way that the seats are, the way that it works, and it's heavily favored here in Toronto. So that again affects who ends up getting into power. And so it's like, how do we, have a system where it's actually the best person for the job? We don't.
We don't pay our property taxes. We say,
No,
forget
we don't.
it.
We don't
We're
have a
not paying
system where the
anything.
best person for the job is going to be our prime minister. We just don't have that system. And
We have
maybe
to hold back the money.
in 1867, this is what made sense, assuming that, that's when the parliamentary system was created. Forgive me for my Canadian history class and not paying attention, but bottom line is we don't have a system that's going to be able to get us the person we need in order to be able to make those changes. So I'm all for Pierre.
We don't even get to
super
vote.
good guy, but at the end of the day, there's only going to be so much stuff that he's going to do, and there'll be scandals that are going to come up. And then there'll be the same people right now complaining about Trudeau will be complaining about some sort of government inefficiency that the next party is going to have.
Imagine what they're going to fucking do to Pierre Poilievre if he gets into power. All these, it's going to be like when Trump was first in. They're going to destroy him.
It's just, one thing after another, something he said 10 years ago, something he voted on, something he did. And it's just, no one's ever happy with the guy. They always vote for the other guy. And then one day we'll have another guy. After he wins, there'll be another guy. And we'll say, like, that's the guy.
Right.
But you got to find somebody who's going to change the actual system in order for us to be able to move on. And I think the 51st state, just like how your friend's company is now contemplating what their options are, I think the threat of the 51st state, which is never going to happen, is now going to lead to us making major changes in how we run this country. But we will not see it anytime soon. But it's over the next 10 years. I think there'll be a fundamental change in how this country operates, and that it's going to be for the better. Because I'm an optimist and a patriot, and that's what I believe, based on nothing other than my own thoughts and ideas.
I really hope that we do see a bunch of people jailed, tried, ideally hung for a lot of this stuff, TK.
That would help.
To be quite
that would
honest
help.
with you.
No, I don't think we have to do executions.
I think those are worthwhile in this case.
Maybe like some sort of, like they got to lose all their money. They got to lose their positions.
Pay it all back.
They got to, go to jail, like that kind of stuff. So their whole life gets like decimated. Kind of like how a mob boss would get like completely like proceeds of crime, all that kind of stuff.
Like on a Netflix special though, in front of everybody.
And so then everybody knows about it. And then the next guy would be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that. Because right now it's like the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking actually. Yeah. When the Game of Thrones, when the pharmaceutical companies have these calculated risks on how many people they're going to kill and what the fine is going to be, or when TD accepts money from drug dealers and they figure out money laundering,
we only launder
benefits versus the
billion.
fines. Politicians would also have that same calculation and say, look, if I have all this money and I end up getting out of politics, so what? I've just built generational wealth for my family to be able to live off forever. It's like, okay, what's the penalty? What's the penalty?
What's the penalty?
Is the penalty that severe in order for anybody to not want to do it? The answer is no.
The answer is there's no penalty because they're all part of the same club and they're all working together to make sure that there's no penalty, right?
Let me at him, Darryl.
It's time.
Let me
It's
at
time.
him.
It's time. Listen, they're like, I think they're still trying the people from the trucker rally. Where'd the
Mm,
second trucker rally go? What a bunch of pussies we are here. It's like, you
yeah.
know what? You get
They had to go
stomped
back to
over.
work. They had
Everybody
to
had
go
to go
back to
back to
work. People
work.
were like, listen, man, I got a job. I don't know. I got to figure this out.
Well,
But
let's see. I
it's
don't
all good.
know. I have a strange feeling that we're so far gone here
Hmm.
that, you know, look, Trump is doing some drastic stuff, and people willing to do some drastic stuff will hopefully get drastic results. But I mean, there's a lot of people probably in the States that are freaking out at all this stuff, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
one thing to be on the Canadian side, right? And all of us freaking out about how everything is going to go to shit here, but are they not worried that a bunch of their stuff? I mean, we're a small blip. Maybe we're giving
No,
ourselves too
no, no,
much
no. We've
credit
got
here.
a huge impact in their economy. But the
Do
bottom
we?
line is they don't know. They don't know. They don't understand because Americans are a little bit more um what's the word I'm looking for? I
Stupid?
don't no, I don't want to say like
Naive?
egocentric, but like they really
Egocentric?
are focused on what's going on in their country and they don't really know what's going on anywhere else. That's the way it is. But
Yeah.
Daryl, today's been fun. I think anybody listening right now is a real, fan of the show. They love the things that we do, the hats that we wear. Check out the merch. Like, comment, and subscribe. Leave some comments. We got every platform you can think of. You can find us. What you think of it. Type in Canadian Real Estate Show. You'll find us. Drop us a comment. Like, follow, share, all that kind of stuff. We
All
love
that
you
kind of
guys.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
See, we appreciate all of you. What a family, TK. It's like a
Promise.
community
It's it's a great part of my life, and I look forward to doing it every single week with you, Daryl, forever.
every single week forever.
Yep, we
That's
haven't
the
missed a
plan.
week in
Ever.
coming up on 5 years.
When did we start? Like April or May?
June, I think.
June? Yeah. Holy Jesus. 4.5 years. Crazyville. Crazyville.
Yeah,
It's like
coming up on
right about
five
when life
years.
started going
We didn't have a hell of a much
downhill,
going
baby.
on back then, but hey,
Hey.
podcast started,
And
and our
it's
30
still
views
here.
turned into maybe 33.
It's crazy the
Yeah,
amount of views that we are
yeah.
currently getting. And, it's quite an accomplishment, TK. We are extra
For
super special.
two rednecks who don't know what they're talking about and have got nothing
That's
going
right.
on in their life and just spend all
Redneck.
their time talking about real estate on our podcast without any real firsthand knowledge. Man, we're doing pretty good, Daryl.
Pretty good. And we got everybody fooled, TK. Enjoy your day, senor.